The Daffodils. Okay, this is the poem The Daffodils, composed by William Wordsworth. Actually, this poem is a very short poem. It has hardly 24 lines in all. And why it happened that Wordsworth composed this poem? Because it is a very well known poem and it is full of melody. Actually, William Wordsworth, he was returning home with his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. And when they both were going back to their home, William Wordsworth saw a host of daffodils, okay? A host of daffodils on the shore of a lake. And the that scene, okay, the host, that scene of daffodils that attracted Wordsworth a lot. That scene means William Wordsworth, he was so overwhelmed that he couldn't forget that beautiful scene of daffodils. And then he wrote this poem. And this poem also shows William Wordsworth as a poet of nature, lover of nature, and means here we find that definitely he was a poet. So when we come through this poem, we also get aware of the romanticism of William Wordsworth, or how he defined poetry, and as well as here we find personal note also as the very first line, okay, autobiographical note or subjectivity, and all these points are making him a romantic poet. So just try to know the concept of this poem, as I have told you that it is a very melodious poem. And just look at the very first line, okay, the very first word, I. Who is this I? It is the poet William Wordsworth himself, as this poem is based on the real experience, real pleasure of William Wordsworth as he felt, and he realized also later the beauty of nature, the beauty of golden daffodils. So, whatever he felt at that moment, he expressed very beautifully in this poem. And here we find, going through the very first line of this poem, The Daffodils, that William Wordsworth, how much lonely he felt throughout his life, and that was the reason that William Wordsworth, he always wandered here and there. Okay, this is why that this word has been used by him. I wandered. Okay, I wandered. What does it mean? Wander. To wander, that is that when you move here and there without having any purpose, means William Wordsworth, he felt himself so lonely, and here he is comparing himself with a cloud. Okay, cloud, that is an object of nature. This means that he is comparing himself an an object of nature. And what he says, that I wonder. So only in the very first line we come to know the personal note of William Wordsworth, that why it happened, why did it happen with him that he went to nature. So the main reason going to nature, going in the lap of nature, was that the poet Wordsworth, he felt himself very lonely, just like P.B. Shelley, just like John Keats or Byron or Charles Lamb. John Keats and P.B. Shelley, they also tried to get solace in melancholy or in beauty, the world of beauty. John Keats, whenever he felt himself very lonely, he made his own world of beauty. P.B. Shelley, he also became a worshipper of melancholy. And here we find the main reason that why William Wordsworth, he became the lover of nature. Why he found a lot of peace in nature. The reason is in this, the very first line, that William Wordsworth felt himself very lonely. He found no friend in this world, and that was the reason that to find some mentally peace, to find a company, he went where? to nature, in the lap of nature. Okay, so the very first line is very important here, because this line is presenting William Wordsworth as a lonely person and also giving us the reason of his going to nature. So this I, okay, this I, because it is a subject, so here is an autobiographical note, personal note or subjectivity of William Wordsworth, and the figure of speech as, that is simile. Okay, and because William Wordsworth, he is comparing himself with a cloud, so here we find this kind of figure of speech simile, and what he says, I wandered lonely. Okay, I was very lonely, means there was no one with me, and I was wandering without having any aim, without having any purpose, here and there, means I don't know myself that why I was wandering, only that gave me a lot of pleasure. So this was the reason, and I was completely alone, just like a cloud. Okay, as a cloud. So here we find this personal note, that floats. Okay, that, so now this word is indicating to cloud, and this word is also indicating to William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was just like a cloud, and he wandered, he, that is, floats on high, that is that he never liked to be among human beings, because they couldn't understand him, and he himself felt very lonely even among human beings. So this was the reason that, as just like a cloud, as a cloud floats on high over vales and hills. Vales and hills are the phenomena of nature. So just like that, William Wordsworth, he also preferred where, that is to go on high over vales and hills, means in the lap of nature, just like a cloud. So I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once. Okay, means he was not mentally prepared, he was not expecting anything, simply he was wandering only to get some solace, some peace, some happiness. And what happened with him? Immediately what he find there? Now, when all at once I saw a crowd. So now this kind of word is used here, a crowd of not human beings, a crowd of not man or people, when all at once. And I was also very surprised, because I was not expecting that kind of crowd. When all at once I saw a crowd. Okay, so this word I saw, not looked, but I saw a crowd. And a crowd of what? A crowd of whom? A crowd, a host of golden daffodils, right? So here there was a crowd innumerable. Okay, there was an abundance of daffodils, the flowers, and they were in a large number. Means the golden, this word has been used here, golden daffodils, because daffodils, they were yellow in color. So William Wordsworth, all at once he saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, right? A host, that is a group of golden daffodils. And where were they all? Beside the lake, because he found them when he was going back to his home with his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. So at that moment, the golden daffodils, they were on the shore of a lake, that is beside the lake. Okay, and they were beside the lake, beside, that is by the side of that lake, beneath the trees, fluttering. Okay, just look at the beautiful word, they were fluttering. Daffodils, they were by the side of the lake, under the trees, and they were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. It was, we can say that it was blowing very softly. Actually, the daffodils, they were not dancing. Okay, they were not dancing, they were not fluttering. It was the wind, it was the soft breeze that was making all of them dancing. Means the daffodils, because of the soft breeze, because of the soft wind, they were tossing. Okay, it was the wind that was making them toast their heads here and there. So now it seemed to the poet, just look at the poetic talent of William Wordsworth, that what kind of words he has used here, that it seemed to him as if they were very happy, and in their happiness they were fluttering, they were dancing, and were in the breeze. And when we love to dance, when we love to flutter, at that moment when we are very joyful. So now here we have to keep this thing in our mind, that it all happened only because of the gentle wind, that the daffodils, they were tossing their head. Okay, they were tossing their head where in gentle wind. So the golden daffodils, they were by the side of the lake under the trees, and they were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So this scene was so overwhelming for the poet that it was not possible for him to forget these beautiful golden daffodils. Continue